Good morning, you badass motherfuckers. It's the results kill excuses, the morning drinking show. I'm your host, Greg. Get back on this motherfucker once again, aren't we? We doing life today, aren't we? Welcome to another day of life, motherfuckers. Welcome to another day of life. How's your day started? Is your day starting good? You starting your day, or is your day starting you, man? You still recovering? Who went out and partied last night, got all fucked up? Hey, boy, get wasted still? I'm sure there's plenty of you still fucking around with them vices. But we're going to talk about life today because that's what we're doing. I hope that's what you're doing. I hope you're doing life. I know I'm doing life. I'm loving life. I love doing the journaling first thing in the morning. I get into affirmations, actually. First thing in the morning, boom, it's affirmations, right? It's just, there's a really cool one that I listen to a lot from Abraham Hicks. It's Good Morning. And it's just her just like unloading on just really setting an intention for the day, right? And I love listening to that just to start. It's like the first 10 minutes of my day. And then beyond that, I got some other good stuff I listen to that really just, again, is programming the mind. It's really shaping the mind because maybe yesterday wasn't the best. Maybe even some dreams weren't the greatest. So we have to really just start taking ownership and just have this conscientious state of living, which is so important. And that's really the message of today is ready or not, man, life is going to come at you. And I think it's more important in 23, and it's more of the message that I love to communicate to everybody is you have plenty of choices in this world, right? But the most important choice is what? How are you going to show up in your life? Right? How are you showing up? How are you showing up today? Are you running a repeat of what you do? Do you have such a tight ritual of what your Sundays look like? That to do anything new would be actually uncomfortable. Could you imagine that? And it's not to say that, Sundays are usually religious days. So it's the day that you set aside time to what? To have devotion, maybe more spirituality, maybe check the box, pay your membership dues, right? Connect with your church family, whatever it is, right? I'm not here to criticize whatever you need in your life as part of your routine. But here's the thing, and this is that real talk, is that whatever your routine is, if you look back at the pattern of the routine, right? So whether you've been showing up doing a certain routine for 1 month, 6 months, 1 year, 10 years, right? In terms of your Sunday, your Monday through Friday, your Saturdays, your weekends, what are the patterns in your life? Because the patterns in your life are really your habits, and your habits are really what equate to who you are, how you feel, what you think, and everything else that goes into the composition of your life. Do we understand this shit? That everything that you are doing, your patterns are your habits. Your habits are truly what is ingrained inside of you, right? And so if you continue just doing the same thing over and over and over again, hoping, wishing, praying, right? Desperately needing something to change, but it hasn't over an extended period of time, right? Then maybe it's time to try something new. As I just see 444 is going across the screen here. I know we're aligned, and I know we're going to speak some truth into the hearts and minds of those of you that show up and want to listen to something new, to hear a different point of view. And that's hard, right? Because you're an adult. We got this shit all figured out, don't we? Don't you got everything figured out? And so it's hard to actually switch habits. And life doesn't care if you're ready or not. Shit is gonna come your way. And it's unfortunate that for so many people it takes hitting rock bottom, right? I am the poster child for hitting rock bottom, but yeah, guess what? Turning my life around. Saying enough's enough. I'm ready, right? I'm ready. Even if I'm not ready, I'm ready, and I'm willing to do what? Anything, everything, right? And that's a huge difference. Even when you talk about relationships, right? I've been coaching a few people, and I can be honest with you, even in my own experiences, when there's like a fallout in a relationship, right? And there's an opportunity for reconciliation. And I've had that in marriages, I've had it in just long-term relationships where maybe I'm the one that fucked up. And the old version of me, right? Desperate, needing what? Sex, physical intimacy, that, having not had that because there's fallout, right? So then what? Mr. Manipulation would show up, right? Or Mrs. This could be either one, man. Men and women both do this shit. And it's like when something doesn't go your way, right? When you're desperate, right? That's when you start to say, hey, I'll make a change. I'll make a change if that's what it takes, whatever it takes. And so you'll call that person and say, I'll do anything. Who here's ever heard from someone they care about that says, look, I'll do anything. I'll do anything to get you back. I'll do anything to win you over. I'll do anything. And it's like, really think about that. Isn't that desperate? And even in maybe your own circumstances right now, you're saying, I'll do anything. But then when life presents itself, okay, well, here's anything. Here's the roadmap to anything. And you're like, but I won't do that. That's too hard. That's too difficult. I can't do that. Why do I got to do that? But you just said you would do anything. Except for the things that your mind says is impossible, or your mind says you can't do. Or even better yet is you say, okay, I'll do anything. And then so you start doing these things, right? And what are you doing it for? Are you doing it for yourself? Right? Partly, right? If you're doing something to get something back that you have lost, a human, another person, right? There's manipulation there because you're saying you're going to do anything for that person to be back, right? But in the long term, right, we're creatures of habit. And when I say we're creatures of habit, what do I mean? Meaning that if you're not doing it for you, if you're not showing up every single day wanting to be the best version of yourself, for who? Yourself, knowing that if you do show up for yourself, right, then guess what? You're going to be able to show up for other people as well. But you're doing it by being authentic to yourself. And I've always said that if you want to improve the relationships with people around you, you have to improve the relationship with yourself, period. Because there's a lot of you that you'll be dependent, you're codependent on external relationships, right? Whether they're social, intimate, workplace, friends, family, whoever, you're relying on them, on other people. Right? So for you to feel whole and complete, because if those people don't show up, right, that's when you go into a spiral. That's when you're not ready because someone else isn't there to pick you up. But if you're honest with yourself, ain't nobody gonna be there other than yourself 24/7, 365. No one else is there. I was married for 21 years. My spouse for 21 years was not attached to my body, meaning everywhere I went, she went, everything I thought, she thought. That's not how it works. And we have to learn how to decouple emotionally. Those are attachments that we have. And a lot of that shit is bound in what? Our trauma, 0 to 10 years old. This is the shit I talk about. A lot of us are carrying around trauma that cause us to create deep attachments in other people, needing someone else to feel worthy, to feel whole, to feel complete, to feel like if someone holds my hand, then I can go and do something difficult. I can do something hard. And I see it all the time. Like I'm coaching people and I can light fires under their asses and I can hold them accountable. And a lot of times when I do, they get pissed off because they think I'm being an ass, right? Because I'm not putting up with what? Their bullshit, your bullshit. And we're really good at bullshitting ourselves and bullshitting others because we want it to be what? Easy. We don't want to have to put in work. When we say, I'll do anything, I think genuinely most people actually mean shit like that. I'll do anything. But it's so desperate. It's not sexy. That's not attractive. Hearing somebody say, I'll do anything. And what I've been coaching a lot of clients, especially women, in terms of allowing men back into their lives that have hurt them or caused there to be instability in the relationship, is when a man has changed. Because guess what? He doesn't show up saying, I'll do anything, I'll do anything. No, he's going to say, guess what? I've done everything. I've done everything I could. Check this out. I've done this. I've done that. I've done this. I've done this. I'm doing that. I'm also doing this. I'm making this shit happen because that's what goes down when motherfuckers are ready. Right? And I had this experience yesterday. Good friend of mine, man, had a life-changing situation. Out of nowhere, man. Not ready. Definitely not ready for what the fuck just went down. And so I sent this individual a resource, a video that's very inspiring. It's something that really helped me to really establish my reality right now. It's a Jordan Peterson video where Jordan Peterson really breaks down how you set up goals and ultimately how you create your perfect day, thus your perfect week, thus your perfect life. And a lot of us, we're afraid to do this shit. But I sent this video to this guy and we went on back and forth conversing. And I said, did you watch the video? There's the accountability. Did you watch the video I just sent you? Oh yeah, I saw that video and it was like 2 years ago. And I'm like, but I sent you the video now because it's important now. Right. But a lot of people, that's how you get. It's like, let me just put the check in the box. And then somehow that gets me to some kind of a hypothetical goal. Because I've already seen the video, I don't need to see it again, right? Because I've read the book once, I don't need to read it 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 times. Right. And that's crazy. There's probably 5 to 6 books that I have literally read 5 to 6 times. Some of them even maybe 10. Did you hear that? There are probably 5 or 6 self-help books that I have literally read and reread and read again and read more and read another time because they are so impactful on my journey and this life. But a lot of you are like, well, I've read 100 books, right? One time. And yet, how have those books impacted your life? And I think that I listened to a podcast the other day where the guy's like, man, I'd rather be someone that has 3 to 5 books that I've read 10 times, but guess what? I am using the knowledge, the skills, right? And the implementation of information in these books into my life. I am integrating this information, right? So that I can actually improve my life. It's not just a process of just doing, right? It's actually implementing shit. So when I send a video and the guy's like, I saw that video 2 years ago. But dude, I sent it to you today, knowing what you just went through. This would definitely be a benefit. And I've watched the video dozens of times. That's how impactful it is. So ready or not ready. It doesn't sound like you're ready. And you got to ask yourself that. When someone shares information with you, are you hungry for it? Are you someone that's really, I'm going to do everything, right? Or maybe I've already I've already watched that. I've already tried that. I already tried therapy. It didn't work, right? It's that same mindset. I've already tried it. It didn't work. I've already listened to that. It didn't, it was a good book, right? And again, it's just expecting what? Magic to happen. And it takes literal effort and work. And it's like we have to ingrain this shit in our minds, because what's ingrained in your minds are some really deep programs that are holding you back. Do you realize this? That you have programs. You are running subconscious programs based on your trauma, based on things that have impacted your life in a negative way, right? Your heartbreaks, being terrified, if you've been in life or death situations, if you've been assaulted, abused, neglected, betrayed, heartbroken, all of these negative things create subconscious programs that are really there to set you up for survival, right? To help to protect you so that it doesn't happen again. But the thing is if you can be conscientious, you can realize that a lot of these programs are also holding you back from really growing and expanding and becoming a better version of yourself. And that's what it takes, is really saying, look, man, I'm tired. I'm done. I'm tired of running programs that I'm not even in control of. That's what it took for me, right? I had to hit rock bottom. I had to hit rock bottom to say I want to get sober, because I knew what my relationship to alcohol was. It was fucking abusive, man. That was an abusive relationship with alcohol. I can't tell you, man. I should be dead or in prison right now because of my relationship with alcohol and my lack of control. Y'all think you got control over alcohol? Good for you, man. If you can just kick back, have a glass of wine or a cocktail, good for you. You're still poisoning yourself. You're not going to change that reality, right? Any amount of alcohol, this bullshit about, it clears out your arteries. Well, fuck, compared to all the other bullshit you're stacking in there, in processed foods, fried foods, junk foods. Yeah, sure, some ethanol might just clear the veins, clear the arteries out. Y'all think you're fooling yourselves, man. Well, you are fooling yourself. Let's just be honest. You are fooling yourself. You're lying to yourself, right? Because again, this is a habit. And I posted that yesterday about the things that are my self-care. Most of us don't have self-care, right? So most of the times when some shit pops up, you're not ready. You lose it. You get overwhelmed. You get defeated. And then you go what? To the vices. Because that's easy. That's an easy fix, right? It's putting a patch on a bigger fucking problem. And I'm here to try and change some mindsets and change some hearts and beliefs and really lead the way to say, look, you can be way more empowered with your life, right? Because I believe that you have control over your mental, emotional, spiritual, and physical state of being. But most of us don't. Because it even took me, God, man, almost 10 years of sobriety to even start figuring out the emotional piece of all this. Realizing that, I've been sober for years and years and years and years, sober. And yet still feeling like if something triggered me, didn't even realize what triggers were. But knowing that if I had a certain type of interaction with another human being that would set me off, I would lose my shit. And that never left me feeling good. I don't want to feel uncontrollable, like I can't control my emotions, my behavior, right? Because a lot of times, man, if we lose it, you can't take that shit back. You want to, but you can't take it back. And so I'd much rather have self-mastery, right? And a big part of self-mastery for me is self-care. That's being ready every day, waking up saying, look, I have a routine. That's the shit that goes on the bottom of the screen here every time I'm on here, right? That focuses on what? Positive mindfulness, right? Really building up my mindset. Then what? activity, exercise, nutrition, personal development, listening to the same book 10 times in a row, if that's what it takes to truly grab a hold of what's being communicated, right? And then it's going out and making a difference, touching the lives of other people because of the transformation going on inside of me, and doing it from a genuine place, not needing nothing in return. A lot of us, it's all manipulation. It's all having an expectation, right? Very few people do something not expecting anything in return. Just genuinely fucking unconditional love, man. Just saying, hey, look, I'm gonna help you out. I got you. I'm gonna do this for you. There's nothing needed in return, man. Just high five. And when I do these things, most people do feel like I need to pay it back. And so where I set people free in just my own journey is I say, hey man, don't ever pay it back, pay it forward, right? Look, I've helped you out right now in this time in your life where you needed some help, right? There's gonna come a time where you have regained some stability in you. And guess what? Someone's gonna cross your path and need some help. Don't ignore them, help them out, pay it forward. That's the paying it forward. And that's a beautiful thing when you can plant that seed of saying, look, you're set free. There's nothing not communicated within this exchange. You don't need to pay it back, pay it forward. I don't loan money. I don't do any weird shit like that. If I give, and I say pay it forward, right? Because I know that's going to make a greater impact in this world. Because then maybe that person's going to share that same story when they help that other person out. They can say, hey, pay it forward, pay it forward, pay it forward. And we're actually having some ripples and making a difference. But again, it's living with that mindset of being ready, mission ready. In the military, they taught us to be mission ready at all times. That's why we had regular physical fitness, right? It was a part of it, right? Eating right, exercising, training. It's all about being mission ready. And what are you mission ready for? You need to be mission ready for life. When people see me climbing up mountains and shit with a big, huge pack, oh, you going camping? No, man. Oh, what are you training? Are you training for something? Yeah, I'm training for something. They're like, oh, what are you training for? And it's very simple. Life. I'm training for life. Because the more challenges I put myself through with intention, the more situations that I put myself through that are uncomfortable, right? It prepares me for the unexpected. So that when something just pops off, when the shit just hits the fan, I'm like, all right, we got this. Let's take a look. Let's take a step back. Let's breathe, right? Assess the situation and solve the problem. We don't have to get emotionally overwhelmed about little shit. Most of us get so fucking tripped up on little shit. You know, one of the littlest shits, in my opinion, in this world, politics. How many of y'all get just caught up on the politics, man? That shit makes or breaks you, doesn't it? Social issues, politics, right? And it's like, how does that impact your life? It don't. It's a show. It's a show. It's a sideshow. It's a distraction, right? Being free is a state of mind. Being at peace is a state of mind. Being wealthy is a state of mind. But guess what? Being poor is a state of mind, right? Being oppressed is a state of mind, right? And there's plenty of examples throughout history of people that have been in crazy, real fucking challenging situations where what got them through was their state of mind. Feeling that, look, regardless if I have an oppressor, I am going to remain free inside. You can't take what's inside me. And that's where so many people with first world problems, y'all get lost. Y'all getting hung up on the bullshit, right? You're watching too much of the tube. You're watching too much of the news. You're playing politics. You're playing divisiveness, right? You don't need to be against your neighbors because of who they voted for or what they fucking do or who they make love to or whatever. As long as they ain't fucking with them kids, right? As long as they ain't manipulating other people. Those are my two hard fucking no-goes, right? then how does it impact your life? Shouldn't, right? But everybody needs to feel like their voice matters. And the way that you think your voice matters is by voting. The way you think your voice matters is by posting some bullshit on your feed, on social media, right? Just carrying the weight for someone else that would never give a shit about you. They say they care, they don't care. Tell me one politician that's ever came to like pay a bill, tuck you in, hold your hand, hug you, right? Comfort you, right? Dig into their own pockets to give you some relief. Like, when has that ever happened? And yet we buy into this narrative that somehow that's going to make a difference, that these people are going to make a difference. They're no different than you and me, right? And yet we elevate them to this status that we worship them. And I'm done worshiping. I'm done worshiping people, right? That's it. Done. So what I do choose to do, right, is to just stay ready. Ready for what? For whatever comes my way. Bring it. Big challenges, little challenges, crazy obstacles, crazy circumstances, bring it, right? One of the most frustrating things, no, wait, what am I talking about? One of the most freeing things, one of the most liberating things that happened to me along this journey, really like 2 years ago, right? 2 years ago, I got fired for the first time in my life, right? Most people that'd be very humiliating, right? Um, However, for me, right, I'm someone that I've been an entrepreneur. I know what it is to be very, very, very successful on my own. I did in my 20s, did in my 30s. And to get fired for what I got fired for, I would do that same thing I did 1,000 times over, and never once would I say, is this the right thing to do? Right? And I got my own moral compass. So when it happened, the reason why it was so freeing was because, the truth be told, is I put myself in an uncomfortable situation from a work perspective. Maybe some of you can understand where I'm coming from. When I moved back to New Mexico, right? This was back in 2009. I used to live in Southern California. Commuting was a way of life out there, right? You live in Southern California, everybody knows what commuting is. Very few people just work at the local little whatever. Everybody's getting on freeways, and sometimes it takes you 20 minutes to get to work, and sometimes it takes you 3 hours. That's just the nature of the beast. So when I moved back to my home state, my hometown, I told myself, I gave myself a vow. I said, I will never commute here, right? I won't do it. And so when I said I put myself in an uncomfortable situation, I was in a season of really starting to reinvigorate that entrepreneurialism, right? Wanting more freedom. That's what it really boils down to for me, right? I had chalked up a big loss coming out of the collapse, economic speaking, of 2008, 2009, where I had a business in Southern California. We were fucking killing it, building a real estate empire, building a promotional products empire. And then everything just fell off the fucking cliff, right? And I chalked that up as a big loss in my life. And yet, I kind of lost the zeal to say I want to be my own business owner, right? It was a lot. It took a lot out of me to do that. And so throughout the course of rebuilding my life, I said, you know what? I'm just going to be a company man. I'm just going to be okay with, paid time off and sick pay and holidays and whatever other bullshit. Like, let's just see what that looks like. And so, yeah, in the process of that journey, I told myself, I'm never going to commute though. That's one area where I don't want to do it. I don't want to commute out here in New Mexico. I think there's always going to be something close by. However, in that season, 2 years ago, when I got fired, I was commuting and I put myself in that uncomfortable situation. The reason being is because I wanted to make it uncomfortable enough for me that I would say, you know what, look, man, you got this, the commute, the thing you said you would never do, or you can start believing in your dreams more. You can start putting more focus, not in your 9 to 5, but that 5 to 9, to start building businesses, man, because that is something you are capable and qualified and really talented at doing, right? Natural business skills, natural business acumen mixed with actual formal training up to a master's degree in business administration, right? You have the ability to create and build businesses. And I've always been entrepreneurial ever since a little kid selling candy bars in, house to house. You can't do that shit no more. But that's how it used to be, a little hustler mentality. So I put myself in an uncomfortable situation. I was doing a lot of stuff that was just outside of my comfort zone. And yet it was interesting that I got fired in that season. And again, I didn't victimize myself. I didn't need anybody to lick my wounds because I heard the message and I heard it very clearly. It was really interesting. On the day I got fired, on my commute, there's like 20 red lights that that are all lined up. And then there's like, there's some longer stretches of highway, but there's like 20 red lights. There's 20 stoplights, I should say. And for whatever reason, this day, right, I was hitting every single one of those lights. And I knew it. I felt it. I was like, wait, something's holding me up today. Something is holding me back. I'm going to show up to work late. And I wasn't freaked out. I wasn't overwhelmed. I'm very fortunate that I have diverse income coming in, right? So I'm not dependent on just one source of income. If I lose my job, which I did, it wasn't the end of the world for me. I still have a baseline income, which is significant, right? And I encourage you guys to figure out ways to come up with multiple streams of income. And if you need help with that, hit me up. But here's the thing is, along this path that morning, something was up. I knew something was up. I'm like, dude, I've never hit all of these lights, and I'm hitting every light. And I didn't have an urgency to run the red lights, run the yellow lights. I just was going with the flow, man. And sure enough, I show up there and I just said something was up, man. And I got fired, right? And it was very humbling. It was shocking because I'd never been fired in my entire life. And I knew that there was friction in the air because I was asking a lot of questions. And, the basis of the firing, it doesn't matter. It does not matter. It wasn't for negligence of duty or anything weird like that, right? There just wasn't a good alignment between me and this organization. So be it. But here's where I knew what was the deeper message. And this is how I empowered myself into something that could be very disempowering. That could be very, if you're lacking confidence, getting fired, man, it can really freak you out, man. I mean, there's a lot of fear in that. It's like, uh-oh, what am I going to do? How am I going to survive? Oh my God, I'm going to lose everything I have. Like, it's a scary time. And you have to be honest with yourself if you ever been through that or if you think that could happen. But for me, I said, forget it. Back to this Jordan Peterson video, I said, dude, like, I'm going to turn this into the best thing. I feel that this is the universe or God saying, dink, I'm going to set you free, man. And this is not the only time I've been set free. I can tell you plenty of stories of times where I have been set free. And when I say set free, it's just meaning like beholden to a job, man. Like, and I was sick of it. I was tired of having to ask, hey, can I go use the bathroom? Hey, I need to take my kid to the doctor. Hey, I have a doctor's appointment. Can I take a day off? And it's like, man, it sucks when you're stressed out working somewhere. And it's like, you don't feel safe to ask for time off because you don't really feel seen, right, as anything other than the tool that you are that shows up to work. You don't feel like you're seen as a parent or as a human that has other responsibilities and other passions and other interests. And that's something that I really exemplify as a leader now, is I want to make sure that my team feels seen and feels heard outside of whatever they show up for. Because I feel that the more supported and the more seen that people feel that they are, guess what? When they show up, they're going to give you 100. And I see that with my team. They're very, very, very appreciative of my leadership style. And it's very unique. It's not widespread what I bring to the table. So I told myself, look, I'm done. I'm done. I'm done working for other people. I won't do it again. I will fucking do whatever it takes. Right? Back to that analogy. I'll do whatever it takes. And here's what I'm going to do. Right? And I just started implementing plans and actions to say, look, I'm not going back. I'm never going to ask somebody for time off again. I'm done. I'm done. Right? Because I know that I've been successful working on my own, being my own boss, right? I've been successful doing that in the past, and there's no reason why I can't do it now. I'm better now than I was then. Trust me. I was walking around drunk and high and all this other bullshit, and I was very successful. So why couldn't I be better now? And it just took me believing in myself, saying, look, the universe is saying, bink, I'm going to set you free. God shot me out of there, said, it's up to you. If you want to go back in the cage, if you want to go back in the box, that's up to you. You know what you're going to get, right? Someone else having control over your life, right? Or if you truly want more freedom, now's your time. Got to build the freedom. And it's scary, right? To go out and do something, especially when you're not necessarily ready. There's a lot of times where we can be, if you're in a good job, but you know it's not something you want to do, well, you can be strategizing and putting stuff together to allow you to make that switch. You can start building that 5 to 9. That side hustle can become your main hustle, and it really should be, right? Because at that point, you're your own boss. Ain't nobody gonna tell you what to do. And so that ready or not mentality is be ready. Have a plan, right? Figure out what you need to do to create financial stability for yourself so that if you ever need, if you ever lose your job or some unexpected shit happens, you're not in a state of desperation. You've already put in the plan and everything is set up for you to be successful, right? And so many of us are afraid of that. And yet that was so important for me in that time, is that I heard this Jordan Peterson video, back to that, where he said, look, start visualizing, write down your perfect day. What do you want? What would be your perfect day? And so many of us, we limit ourselves in our imagination. Why do you limit your imagination? Right? Do you think it's just like blowing smoke? For you to sit there and truly believe that you're worthy of your perfect day. If your perfect day is waking up early, mindfulness in the morning, right? Eating healthy, dropping your kids off at school, going to the gym and working out for a couple hours, right? Putting in some work in the middle of the day, early afternoon, picking your kids up in the afternoon, right? Making dinner, spending time with family. Like, you're like, well, how do I make money and all that? There's lots of ways to do it. There is lots of ways to do it. And at the end of the day, it's not even your responsibility to truly figure that out. It's to say, what is your perfect day? Your perfect day is not mine. And my perfect day is not going to be yours. And that's where you have to realize, what would your perfect day look like? Then what would the perfect week look like? And the perfect month and the perfect year. And that is how the universe works. That's how the law of attraction works, is if you can start imagining and visualizing it, you're going to start getting ideas that you never had, or actually old ideas that have continued to pop up that you continue to ignore because you're so busy building someone else's life, supporting someone else's perfect day, that you ain't even got time to build your own perfect day. So you're not ready, right? And it's time to start coming up with a plan so that you can be ready every single day for no matter what comes your way. And here's the proof. I went from being fired and saying, look, I'm gonna go on. I don't care what it takes. I'm not working for anybody again. I'm motivated again. I'm inspired. I'm hungry to build my own life, right? To do everything. I don't care what it takes, right? I know what it is to lose everything. I will just about allow for, I don't mind actually letting go of everything I got. I got too much shit anyways, right? And so even if I let go of what I got, I know I'm going to get back the things that I truly need. And if the things I truly need are aligned with me having what? More freedom, more wealth, more abundance, more love, right? That's good. That's wonderful. That's how you totally reinvigorate yourself. But so many of us, we don't want to let go of what we got. Because we think that if we do, then we're going to be homeless sitting under a fucking bridge. Well, the only reason you're going to be homeless sitting under a bridge is because you're not going to act on any of the inspiration and the creative ideas that come to your mind and your imagination because you don't truly believe in yourself. And you just to know, like, you're going to shit your pants some days. There's going to be some days you're going to be so scared, you're going to say, I won't go back to the box. This is too hard, right? And that's when you need support. That's when you need people to help pick you up, right? To encourage you not to give up because shit, this isn't happening instantaneously. But in my own life, this has been like a 2-year journey now. And it's like, this is the most incredible shit. The results are there. I said, no more, no more. And even when I did get a call to align myself, I set myself up. I said, look, right? If you want me to come and be a part of what you're building here, right? If you're looking for someone to micromanage, I'm not your guy, right? Okay, right? And if I sign up, I want to have a seat at the table. I want partnership. I want to be a part of this, not to be an employee and just a fucking worker here. Okay. And even in that process, though, it has been so empowering for myself that as I continue to lean in and believe and manifest and write and put in the work and make shit happen, right? Within my life, guess what? More and more and more and more opportunities are showing up that are giving me even more freedom, that are increasing my wealth, increasing the abundance in my life, increasing the success. And that's a beautiful thing. But that it all started from what? Finally getting to a place where it's like, I wasn't willing to just step out on my own, that God had to say, you're fired. You would be a fool to go back into a box. You're greater than that. You say you want freedom. You say you want to be independent. And here's the problem. A lot of you just want to be retired, right? You just want to be retired. You just want to like be on permanent vacay mode. How many of you want to do that? See, that's the problem. Permanent vacay mode is, you're going to get bored of that. That's human nature, man. I promise you. I promise you. If you're one of your biggest goals in life has been to travel the whole entire world, trust me, if I gave you all the money and all the resources needed for you to travel the whole entire world, even in that you would get fucking bored and you would need something else to do. That's how we are as people. I was talking to somebody I was interviewing, and he was talking about being a world champion at racquetball, right? And I was like, wow, that's pretty impressive. Because he was talking about winning like 3 world champions. And I said, how come you didn't just stop at winning your first world championship? Right? He's like, cuz man, once you win one, then you want more. And I say this all the time. It's like once you get to that first million, right? You want 2, then you want 4, right? Once you accomplish one big goal, guess what? You want to accomplish more big goals. And there's nothing wrong with that. What you should be, though, is someone that truly appreciates every step of the way, the journey. The journey, not just the destination. The destination isn't just saying, hey, I now have $1 million in my bank. The journey is, who do you become that, and what value do you now present to the world that you can attract that type of wealth? Do you need me to say that again? Right? The journey and the destination is saying, I need $1 million in my bank, right? But the journey is saying, who do you become and what value do you provide to the world, right? that then attracts that level of wealth into your life. You need to realize that your wealth is the value that you provide into this world. If the only value, be honest with yourself, what value do you bring to the table right now? If you're someone that is spending hours upon hours upon hours on social media, on watching the tube and cheering on other motherfuckers, there is zero value in that. There's zero value. It's a waste of time. Be honest, it's a waste of time. Right? Because with that time, instead of cheering on other motherfuckers, you could be putting in some work. You could be learning skills. And when you learn new skills and then master those skills and then share those skills, you now are providing value to the world at large. And as you provide more value into society, guess what? It comes back multiplied with a big ribbon on top. But if your whole thing about, like, you don't even realize value, if you think your value is just your paycheck, your 401k, then you're missing the whole point, right? And most of us will not find true value in working for someone else, because very few of us are aligned with what our true gifts are, our true talents are, and are really building and developing and cultivating mastery of those gifts. That's called your zone of genius, right? And that is an area that you need to focus on, is developing your zone of genius, right? I talk a lot about when I was working at the community college, career interest assessment. You could probably just search it on Google, right? And do a career interest assessment. Maybe it's going to cost you $10. Hopefully it's free. Go to a local community college. If they have career counselors, they'll probably have a free career interest assessment, because you may tell yourself, well, I think the highest paying career would be nursing, right? And I can't tell you how many people during my 6 years in higher ed, being an academic advisor, a nationally award-winning advisor at that people would come in, right? And you just think about it from a military perspective. These people were like, I get a lot of infantry, hard chargers. Oh, I want to be a nurse. Why do you want to be a nurse? Oh, because my family told me that I can make a lot of money, right? Well, that's not a good reason to be a nurse, man. It's not about a check, because if being a nurse is someone that's willing on their very worst day to show up for somebody on their fucking absolute worst day, and trust me, a paycheck ain't gonna matter. If you're feeling like shit and you gotta go take care of people that are in way worse situations than just feeling like shit, they're really messed up, your check don't matter at that point. If it's not in you to really be a care provider, right? And that's what a career interest assessment does, is it really kind of shows you and illuminates, it shines a light on what is really inside of you. What are your really inner hidden talents and gifts? Because you may be saying, oh, well, I want to be an architect or an engineer, or a lawyer, or fucking doctor or nurse. But you go do this career interest assessment, it's saying you should be a social worker, or you should be in culinary, right? You should be a chef. You should maybe start your own food truck or a restaurant, right? And then you got to have a coming to Jesus moment and say, am I really willing to do that? Do I really want to put myself in that situation where I'm going to bet on me? And the only way that you're going to be able to succeed by betting on who you are is by what? Trusting yourself, trusting the process, showing up for yourself every single day. Yeah, it's great when you got other people around you, but trust me, here's what I can tell you, is it's going to take you believing in you. But the other thing you need to realize is right now, right this very moment when you are listening to my words, right now, you have everything you need to succeed at anything you want to accomplish in life right now. There's nothing you are missing in this moment of time. It is in you. It may be buried. It may be hidden. It may be broken that you need to fix. But right now, you have everything you need to succeed. And unfortunately, the reason why I keep getting back on here, which is fortunate, The unfortunate piece is that there are so many emotional hurts and pains and trauma and insecurities that are stopping you from really believing in yourself. Because ultimately, for you to truly succeed at something that you desire and something that you dream of, you have to have self-confidence and believe in yourself. Because trust me, other people that you think support you, when you start succeeding, it is shocking how many people literally are not all about you anymore. Right? Ask me how I know this. Everything we talk in here is about real life, man. But I'm promising you this. You got to believe in yourself, right? And you even have to kind of guard who you share these big ideas with. I'm fortunate enough. I'm in a very rock solid place, but that don't mean that it's perfect. That don't mean it's impenetrable in terms of how tough my mind is. But every day, guess what? I get up and I set those intentions and I stick to that fucking routine that builds me up, that sharpens me, that keeps me at like rocking and rolling every single day. Right? But that don't mean that those excuses don't pop up. But I continue to see growth. When I look back, last week, last month, last year, I see growth. That's what I see. I see transformation. I see growth. And ultimately, motherfuckers, I see them results. And that's what is the beautiful thing, is when you can start to see the results, little by little, day after day, week after week, month after month. And then you're like, what? I was fired 2 years ago. Now I got a 5-star fucking Airbnb ranch, right? Kicking ass, loving it. I love this space up here, man. Right? And there's so many other areas of my life, touching other people's lives, even seeing this message evolve into something greater, right? And I'm going to continue to challenge you guys. Join the Results Kill Excuses movement. Support the brand. Get on the website. Pick out a shirt. Pick out something, right? Got some new stickers dropping, the little bombs. And just know, right? This is a mantra. This is a movement. This is a way of being. This is the future, right? Is people encouraging people to quit settling for less, to truly play out and live out your deepest dreams, your deepest desires, right? And know that you got it inside of you. But it's going to take you what? Silencing that little bitch voice, right? And enhancing the voice that's that warrior, that's that beast, that truly does have a desire to say, I don't give a fuck. I am going to accomplish everything I've set out to do. See how far you can go. That's what I'm doing. My why is I want to see how far I can go, because I don't know who I am. And you don't know who you are. Ready or not, you could find out, right? You really do find out who you are when shit fucking hits the fan, when something goes bad, right? Who do you show up as? Are you a victim? Are you a victor, right? Are you a warrior, right? Or are you just worn down? Which is it? Because the warriors, it's not about just winning every battle. A warrior just doesn't give up, regardless of how big the fight is, regardless of how many times you get knocked down. Get back up one more time. Keep fighting, keep believing, keep striving, because you know the drill. Results kill excuses. It's all